All right, all right, all right. What's happening, everybody? Welcome back for another episode of the Closing Table. We're back for December, the monthly episode, always brought to you by NextHome Brandywine, the absolute best in the real estate world. And not just in Philadelphia, not just in Delco, but Chester County, Montgomery County, all the way out to Lancaster, Reading, York, Pennsylvania, and beyond. They cover all areas. And you know what? They even go a step further. They go nationwide to help you anywhere around this beautiful country of ours. But tonight's focus is going to be Delco and Hub. So let me introduce the guys. We got down below. We got Hub Rigel coming in from Dallas, Texas. He's always here with us every month. He lends his unique insight into the world of everything we discuss. We got the man always with the master plan, Dan Pizzi of Next Home Brandywine. And in a few minutes, we're going to be bringing on Chris Pierdomenico, who is the writer and director of Delco the Movie, one of
That's gonna
my
be fun.
favorite places of all time.
Yeah, that's going to be fun. Let's hit a couple quick things here. Hub, thank you for coming on. Merry Christmas, happy holidays to everybody. So I finished up a settlement and just busted it to get back here to join the podcast. It's our last settlement of the year. I actually did the most business this year than I ever did as far as sales volume. So it's all, hungry and humble, I heard somebody say. We always stay humble, but we're hungry to earn your business. And like Bay said, we try to do things the right way. I legitimately just did 2 referrals, one in Delaware, one in Florida at the Villages. So we just did 2 referrals nationwide. Both people were thrilled with the agents that I referred them to, Lauren Rosenthal down there in Florida and Bobby Slagle down in Delaware. So we are plodding along. We held our own this year as an office. And the market is starting to slow a little bit now. We have 600 houses for sale in Chester County, 600 in Delaware County, which we're going to talk about right now as we're going to bring our boy on here in a second. But that's where we're at. It's steady. Interest rates are hanging around 6.5%. And we definitely had a better year than last year. Not as good as 2 years ago, but we do appreciate everybody that uses us at Next Home Brandywine. And we do wish everybody a happy holiday season. And if you're thinking houses into the new year, it's not too early to start. It's a good season to start looking and getting an idea on where you want to go if you're looking to move in the winter and the springtime. So, Bay, I'm not going to go any further with that because I'm very excited about our guests. I appreciate no guest gets paid, as you guys know. We appreciate him coming on and giving us. I'm going to go see it. I work in media 2 days a week. I know in the media theater is going to be the launch, I think. Let's bring him on, Bay. There he is.
There he is, the man of the hour.
What's up, guys?
What's up, Chris? Nice to meet you, man.
Great to meet you. Good to meet you all.
Thank you for coming on. Much appreciated. And we are excited about the movie, and we're glad to have you on. I think our audience would really appreciate some of the insights. I'll start us off, and then guys, you can go. The premise when you first started thinking about this thing, how did it come about, and what was because I'm a Delco guy, Fallcroft original right here. Proud of it, proud of our peeps down in Southern Delaware County. But just your thought process is saying, I want to do this, and we want to launch this thing.
So this is actually a remake of a film I made in high school 20 years ago. So I come from, I'm a big fan, if you can't tell, I'm a big fan of Kevin Smith, also John Hughes. So I always love those types of movies where they really make the location like a character itself. And so originally, I knew I wanted to remake this particular story. It's kind of very, very, very loosely based on me and my friends. And I started writing it, the current version in 2021. And I just decided at some point, I'm like, I'm going to just lean all the way into the Delco thing. Like, let's just lean all into it. And kind of just make it a celebration of Delco while still telling like a comedic, dramatic coming of age story. So I grew up in Aston, went to Sun Valley High, spent many nights at Tom Jones. And so this is,
late nights.
And your favorite movie is Back to the Future.
It is. It's a tie between Back to the Future and Clerks.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, you like John Hughes and Kevin Smith as directors.
Yeah, they're the biggest influences, I think, on me.
So was it hard to get a high school to let you film in the high school this movie?
Yeah, it was a bit. I don't want to say which location we eventually got, because I know they wanted to kind of not, be publicized.
That's what I'm wondering, because you actually wanted it to be your high school, but it wasn't.
It was not. No. No, we tried. We did try my high school, but we actually found a location that looked more like my high school did back then than my high school looks like now. Because I think Sun Valley's been, remodeled and everything. It just looks a lot different than when I was there. And so I really wanted sort of this, early 2000s, high school aesthetic that's, it's not everywhere anymore. And the place that we got to work with, it kind of fit perfectly.
Yeah. So, Chris, so you made a version of this initially when you were still in high school then?
I did. Yep.
Now, how long of a movie was that? Was it like a short or?
Well, it was actually 70 minutes long. So it was
really?
Wow.
Feature film. So I had seen Clerks like a year before.
Okay.
It was my senior year, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna do what Kevin Smith did. I'm gonna just make a feature length film, and technically a 70-minute film is feature length as long as they're 60 minutes. And so we did I somehow talked about 9 of my friends into helping me do this over like 4 months. Staying after school, and and I'm never gonna release it because it's pretty bad. But it was my start how I got started. And these characters I created back then, they've always been very, very personal to me. And I always wanted to do like the definitive version kind of these characters, of this story. And that's what this is. This is the definitive version of my world I've created.
Now, how long ago was that?
2004.
Okay. So
20 years.
Yeah. So when you decided to revisit that, what was the spark that made you want to do that?
Well, in the last 20 years, I've done a lot. I've done a number of short films and web series, and I'm my day job. I'm a full-time teacher. I'm a film teacher and journalism teacher. Nice. I got married. There was a lot. We had a pandemic. A lot of things happened, and so I was just kind of looking at I always knew, even like 15 years ago, I knew I wanted to do this at some point. And I'm looking at like the calendar, and it's 2021, and I'm like, in 3 years, it's going to be 2024. It's going to be 20 years since I did that. Like it's now or never. I need to just do this. And so that summer, I just decided I had a basic framework of the story, but I didn't have a rough draft of the screenplay. So I just made a commitment. I'm like, okay, every night I'm going to write like at least 5 pages of this screenplay, and I'm not going to go to bed until I have 5 pages done, even if they're awful, even if they're terrible. And that's what I did. So that's one of the benefits of my day job as a teacher, is I had the summers off. So, I could stay up late, if I wanted to. And so, by the end of the summer, I had a rough draft. I think a lot of writers make the mistake of trying to edit as they go along on that first draft and kind of make it perfect. And it just winds up never getting done. And that was my mistake a lot of times. I certainly have tried to have started things like this before. And, I just had to make that commitment. I'm going to get at least these 5 pages done, no matter how bad they are. And then we can go back and revise, once, what the hardest thing was the first draft. That was really the hardest thing in that process.
Right.
Well, I think the most famous person you had in the movie was this Brian Dunkelman.
Yeah.
And he was the original co-host for the first season of American Idol. And I don't know exactly what he did in the movie, but there was another guy too. Is Halloran had a crowd scene, and he had a lot of teenagers going around them too, and like these teenagers are up and coming actors from your area. Is that right?
Yeah, they're from the area, from the greater Philadelphia region. So, our three leads, Jenna Kersey, Jeff Pfeiffer, and Steve Harding. They're really kind of the heart of the movie. And, the adults, so the folks to play their parents, like I wanted people that were recognizable. And so I've been a fan of Brian O'Halloran for a very, very long time. He was in the movie that inspired me to make movies. Clerks is why I got into making movies. So I've known him for a while, and just kind of seemed like the perfect opportunity to work with him. As for Dunkelman, we connected around the pandemic about like 5 years ago. And I found him on Facebook for another project, and we did like a short film over Zoom. So it was kind of, everybody was at home, so we did like a short film, kind of everybody filmed their stuff at home and sent it in. It's pretty weird. And
a lot of stuff has been done since the pandemic. You probably it was really great for you to have the pandemic because it gave you a lot of time and connections. People were available.
Yeah, there were benefits to it. There were certainly pros and cons from a creative standpoint. But Dunkelman, we connected there and we hit it off really well. We started a podcast together. It's called Dunkelvision. So it's kind of on hold right now. But we talked to different people in the arts and television and movie industries, and he became one of my best friends, which is so trippy to me because, I watched him like you guys on American Idol 22 years ago, with my family. So he's, we call each other up just to, just shoot the crap around, so he's a really, really awesome dude. I like to work with people that are just, not only very, very talented, but just enjoyable to work with. So I frequently bring people back, if I have a good relationship and I have, a role for them. There are certain people I always want to work with.
Did the local young actors, has this given them some ability as a springboard to get more connection?
I think so. They were all doing pretty well. I would say themselves, like Jeff Pfeiffer, who plays Adam in the movie, one of the teen leads. I found him on TikTok. He has over 1 million followers on TikTok.
Wow.
And the character that he's playing is a tough character. Adam Hess is a tough character to play because it's tough to make him funny while not having him be annoying. It's an interesting balance because he's a little obnoxious. And so Jeff, when I saw his TikToks, I'm like, I think Jeff's the perfect person for this. So I reached out to him and said, I really would like you to audition for this. So he has that going, but I do know that this is the first feature film for the three leads. And I hope it leads to many more things for them after people see this movie.
Well,
I'm interested.
It was amazing. Sorry. But the amount of networking you do, not only to get the actors, but also to get promotion and support for is just incredible.
Yeah, give us a little more on the backstory with that. That's kind of what I'm interested in. I was a project manager for years, so I'm always interested in how things come along that timeline. Just maybe you can give us a little more insight on that. It's very interested in from the conception to you're almost there. It looks like January here. We're going to be at Media Theater. This thing's going to launch. Just a little bit of insight on that backstory, how you started to pull this thing together.
Yeah. So after I finished the first draft, that was the first step, was just getting that first draft done summer of 2021. My next step was I wanted to have a table read. Table read is when you get a bunch of people together, not necessarily the people that are going to be in the movie, but I picked people that I trusted, people that were actors that I just knew, because I need to hear the script out loud. I have to hear the script out loud because it just sounds different than when I read it to myself. I can can tell like, oh, that sounds bad. All right, that sounds good. So I did a couple of those that went well, and I did a few more drafts. I made changes. I cut characters out. I put characters back in. It's a fascinating process. Somewhere along that line, we became Delco the Movie, and it's when we really started leaning into Delco. It wasn't right away. It wasn't the first draft. So I want to say about like draft like 3, I think draft 3 or 4, it was Delco the Movie. And then we were really kind of going all in kind of on that angle, and adding scenes, at famous Delco places, even though it was always meant to take place in Delco. It was always meant to.
What's the time frame on that, Chris? What, from the draft 1 to draft 4, what kind of time frame? What's that look like time wise?
Draft 1, summer 2021. And then, I was working on drafts up until we started filming in 2023. I guess like draft 6, maybe not an official draft, but like the version that we shot, I was working on like right before we shot. It started filming in November 2023. We filmed again in March 2024, and I was still adding lines. So have you guys seen the trailer?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. So that scene at the end with Brian O'Halloran, when he's like, I have friends that live in Chester. I wrote that like 2 weeks before we shot that. We shot that in March, because I thought I needed kind of more to, I needed punchier scenes with Brian. Having Brian there was just such a pleasure. And I'm like, let's get the most out of him. And he did. He knocked it out of the park.
When you're working with somebody like Brian, who's in a movie that inspired you to do things like this, does he start lending his experience to you or making suggestions or?
Yeah, he. I'm so sorry, my thing's just going haywire. I don't.
You're so popular. Everybody's excited about this movie. Everybody's pinging you.
This guy's got to be popular, by the way. He's given out all kinds of promotions to people to even be in the film if they donate a certain amount. He's out there. He's making calls. He's talking to people. And I know from doing events myself, but both Bay and I know from doing events, a lot of times you'll talk to people and they'll talk your ear off, and then they'll waste a lot of your time and they'll never.
That happens. It's funny you mentioned that. That happens anytime my wife and I go to a wedding. Somebody finds me and talks to me, and I'm just so nice, so I just let them talk, and I'm like, this person just needs someone to listen to them. So I've been told I'm a good listener. But to answer the question about Brian O'Halloran, he would offer suggestions, very politely. He thought something would be cool, or this would kind of be cool if you got a shot of this. But he was very, very professional. And I know when we were kind of setting up that first shot of the day, we had him for one day. I'm standing, outside the church looking at the monitor. It's the scene where all the church folks are about to walk in, and it feels like a dream. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm directing Brian O'Halloran's on my monitor. Right. I still remember, watching that Clerks VHS tape, like, in my parents' room years and years and years ago. So it was very, very cool. Awesome. And so the time frame, other stuff that had to happen. The biggest thing was fundraising. We had a very successful crowdfunding campaign back in summer of 2023, and I have to give massive props to my producer, my campaign manager, Leah Savoli. She's another Delcoite, if you will. But she's also had some experiences in Hollywood. She was in Hollywood for like 20 years or so. And she was on Robot Chicken and not Westworld. What's Deadwood? I'm gonna say, yeah.
Oh yeah. Another Deadwood. Italian. I see we got a few Italians out here, huh?
Yeah.
We're everywhere.
So you want to ask him the question, Bay?
Gravy or sauce?
Gravy.
I
told you, Hub.
Look, when Italian
glowing over there.
It was gravy because it cooked all day, and you cook the meat. They used to say if you put the meat in it, it's gravy.
And then you got to get the bread and you got to dip. You got to get the dippy going.
Well, the drummer of Quiet Riot, Frankie Banali, told Bay, he said that the reason that they said gravy is because they wanted their family to become more assimilated and more Americanized, and that was their way of like becoming more Americanized, and that's when they called it gravy.
Interesting
sidebar. So Chris, the excitement is really brewing. Everyone's talking about it. It's being publicized pretty well out there. We're looking for January kickoff here. I got the dates in front of me. What were we? And now I lost it. What is it? Mid-January at the Media Theater, 17th. What are our dates on that?
Yeah, so we have it. We're doing our big red carpet premiere on Friday, January 17th. The red carpet starts at 5:30, and then we're going to be starting the movie about 7:15. That's right now. That's invite only. That's going to be cast, crew, sponsors, businesses, special guests. But we will likely, I can't confirm yet, but we will likely be opening up some tickets for sale on that night, just not yet. At the moment, we are selling tickets for Saturday and Sunday. So Saturday we have let me make sure. One of them's 2:00 and one of them's 3:00. Let's see. Okay, so Saturday we have a 2:00 show and a 7:00 show. And then on Sunday, we have a 3:00 show.
Now, will you go to each show and like sit in the back and just get the crowd see what the crowd reaction is?
Yeah, I'm going to do that. I mean, it's going to be terrifying, but yeah, I'm going to be at every screening. The main cast will be at every screening, so we're going to be there afterwards, and and do Q&A and kind of meet everybody. So yeah, we're going to be there. Like Friday's the big event, but Saturday and Sunday are going to be a lot of fun too. It's going to be like I feel like it's going to be like a Comic-Con kind of thing. We're going to have people with tables set up and signing autographs and stuff. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Tell us about the energy. It seems like a lot of positive energy around this thing. And the Hub said it through some of the social media stuff and all, but everybody you talk to is really excited about it. How's it make you feel? What are you seeing, hearing out there about just a lot of excitement around it?
I'm very flattered. In one sense, it's like, wow, it's so nice that so many people care about something I created. When you're a writer or you're an artist, you hope that something you create means something to somebody else. So just the fact that it's impacting people even before it's out, it's just very, very touching. And at the same time, it's terrifying because I feel really good about the movie, but I'm like, oh boy, I've set the expectations really high. So I feel like it's a great movie. I feel like people are going to enjoy it. I think especially if you like Kevin Smith or John Hughes movies.
Do you feel like because it is now Delco the Movie, do you feel like the pressure of Delco are upon you now? Like you got to do Delco proud. So
yeah, a little bit. Well, one of the issues that we had when I don't know if you've looked at our comments on our trailer, but a lot of folks are saying they don't sound like they're from Delco, and that was like their biggest complaint. Like they don't sound like they have a Delco.
Not everybody has that. Not everybody has it. I think it's neighborhood to neighborhood.
Yeah.
Like you were from Aston. Aston people did not have that, what I have, that Delco Brooklyn accent.
Exactly. And so what was funny was we did the wrap party back in November with the cast and crew and the sponsors. And so one of the things we did was Delco disses. So myself and the cast went on stage and just performed all the negative comments that were on our social media and YouTube. It was a lot of fun.
That's funny.
The thing I think that you did really great from what I saw is that you made everybody involved everybody that wanted to be involved in the movie, you got them involved, and you made it feel like everybody's part of the community and part of this event. And it makes them feel like they're part of the event, for lack of better words there.
Yeah, that's the hope. It's not just about me. Delco is a community. And so, yes, this is my story, but it's all of our stories. I want you to be able to kind of see yourself, every audience member see themselves somewhere in this film.
Yeah, but actually the people that wanted to be involved in it were able to be involved in it if they wanted to.
We had our business sponsors, we went to a bunch of different businesses and shot little cameos, so you'll see people, and
That's
then
nice.
The church scene, we need a lot of people. It's I would say it's our climax scene. There's a church scene. We needed like a lot of people, and so we put out something like on the crowdfunding campaign, hey, if you pay $37 this limited time, you can be in a scene with Brian O'Halloran. And if you're a Clerks fan, you know what 37 means. I don't know if we can talk about that here.
Yeah, but people are going to watch the movie because he's in it. It's going to be really important. The other thing, even the owner of Tom Jones, the restaurant, she's in it, and she was thrilled to be in it.
Yeah, Eleni is wonderful. Tom Jones was the first location we secured to film. I wanted to have Tom Jones in the movie from the beginning, but I didn't know if that would be possible. I thought maybe I'll have to like get another diner and pretend it's Tom Jones, something like that. But I decided to take a chance. I called up Tom Jones, and Eleni called me back, and they were so into the idea, and they were so helpful. We had such a great experience working with them. They moved around their schedule for us that we could film there, and accommodated our cast and crew and our extras. So they're amazing. Just an amazing.
It feels like you should have filmed there late at night because that's when we all frequented that place.
Yeah, I have heard that maybe in the next one.
Hey, Hub, that place is where we went when you had a couple brews and you needed to soak some things up before you continued your way home. So everybody went to Tom Jones at 2 a.m. and they had decent food. It was big, open all night, still there.
One of the last meals I had in Delco before I moved to Nashville was at Tom Jones. I had breakfast there. Yeah, it was like, I think the day before I left. Yeah.
What a way to go.
Other locations other than Tom Jones and that church that I think you said you got married at that church.
I did. Yeah. My wife and I got married there in 2019. And so my stepdad.
Can we divulge the church? Do we know what church?
Yeah, it's a First Presbyterian Church of Springfield.
Okay.
Springfield, I know. Yep.
And I don't go there. I never went there, but my stepdad works there. And so he was able to, that's how we were able to do the wedding there. And those folks were great too, just kind of letting us kind of have the place for the day. And other locations, we have Club Shave in Chadds Ford, Club Shave.
It's close to me down here. Yeah.
Yeah. So they make an appearance in the movie. We have Brad Fab Industries. Do you know Brad Fab?
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, you will in the movie. They're going to make an appearance. We have American Picker's Dream in Chichester. We have just so many.
Wow.
The whole opening sequence is just full of like all the different businesses that supported us. And then we see
what? That's fantastic, man. Just to incorporate them like that. And it means a lot to the businesses. Trust me, these small businesses, it means a lot that they get that exposure. And you to be creatively bringing them into the movie like that is phenomenal. So for the people that don't know, give them a little bit about what the movie's going to be about and just a little bit of insight for some of the people that are listening that may not know about the movie.
So it's about 3 kids, Adam, Jess, and Wayne. Adam has been homeschooled his whole life, but this is his first day of public school in a Delco high school. And so Wayne is trying to show him the ropes and trying to get him acquainted with the real world and not being, beat up or, humiliated. And Wayne's kind of been a good kid his whole life too. He's a pastor's kid, and he's expected to kind of take over the church and continue his father's crusade to save Delco. That's his father's goal. Brian O'Halloran is like, we need to save Delco. He doesn't want to do that. He doesn't want to die in Delco. He sees that as a fate worse than hell. So his friend Jess is like, well, you've never lived like a real kid before. Like you've been kind of sheltered yourself. You're not as bad as Adam, but you've you need to kind of live life. You need to kind of try new things. And so, as we know, when good kids try to break the rules, they usually do a very bad job of it. And that's kind of what happens in the movie.
That's awesome. We're looking forward to it. Hey, Bay, any more questions?
Yeah. I had a question hit my tongue, and you said it. You totally like.
I mess, Chris. I'm good for messing people up.
You threw me off balance.
So while you're thinking, I actually help my buddy at his transportation company, which is a couple blocks. We can walk there from Media Theater, M. Trace Enterprise. So we're close down there. I'm going to definitely get down there and see you during that opening weekend.
Awesome, man. Thank you for your support.
Oh, man, we're looking forward to it. Yeah, I'm going to be talking to the guys tomorrow. We'll bring the guys down from the office. Hey, Bay, is that brain still on fire?
No, it's burning. No, what I was going to say is when I watched the trailer, I said to myself, "This is like Superbad in Delco."
That was another influence, was Superbad. I wanted to kind of do my own version of that, so I'm glad you said that. Yeah,
and also Booksmart.
Yeah, Booksmart as well. Actually, that's one of the stars of that movie is Jonah Hill's sister. I don't know if you knew that.
No, it's just
yeah. So that was an influence. So yeah, I mean, it's certainly a genre movie in that sense. It's a teen comedy that kind of harkens back to like the early 2000s. But it's like, what if that happened in Delco? I think that would kind of be interesting, to see. And what I will tell you, spread the word, because if we are trying to sell out Saturday and Sunday, if we sell out, they will run us again the following weekend.
Nice.
Only if we
hey, Bay, I'll promote it as well. If you want us to have any specific information, Chris, send it to Bay. I'll put it up against our social pages. We'll share it back out with the replay of the podcast, which we've been doing good. We've been between that 500 and 1,000 views a month. So we've been doing better with our podcast views. We'll get it out on there, and I'll get it out across my social media stuff. Oh, Delco's so hot anymore with all the Delco clothes and everything. This just fits right in. And if you haven't been to media in a while, and Chris knows, it's beautiful. You can go for dinner, then go early, stay late down there, go see Chris's movie. The Media Theater is beautiful. It's just it's going to be a perfect backdrop for the release of this movie. And I'm sure it's going to sell out. You got Christmas time, people's heads a little bit, other places. I'm sure the tickets are going to fly off. And one more time, give us the dates and times again of that opening weekend. You got them in front of you? We got Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, so Saturday and Sunday. Saturday, January 18th, we have a show at 2 and a show at 7. And then on Sunday, January 19th, we have a show at 3. Keep an eye out. We will be opening limited tickets for Friday, but I recommend getting Saturday or Sunday because there's going to be much more of those. So if you want,
where can we get those tickets, Chris? Is that?
You can go to delcothemovie.com, and we have a link to the Media Theater's ticket site. You also go right to Media Theater. The Media Theater, I think it's .org. But if you Google the Media Theater, it'll pop up there. But if you're not sure, delcothemovie.com, there's a link right at the top to buy tickets for any of those times.
Chris, after that is done, after the big media premiere, how will people be able to see the movie? Are you going to look at streaming services? I mean, physical media is not really the big thing anymore.
We are looking at, we definitely want more and more people to see it, whether that is through streaming or through physical media. We are looking at distribution options. Right. We don't have anything set yet, but we're trying to, as soon as that opening weekend's done, that's what we're going to jump into. And we'll probably do other screenings. We've had a couple other folks invite us to, hey, show your film at our bar or something like that. So,
right.
There'll be a couple other opportunities, but we definitely want as many people to see it as possible. Part of me is like, it'd be kind of funny if I put it on a VHS tape, that'll be
awesome. Yeah. Some of us still have them lying around. We can still hook them up.
Yeah,
I do think the excitement's there. Honestly, I really do. So I do think it's going to be a huge success. And you feel the energy. People are talking about it. And when Bay said we're going to have you on, I'm like, this is perfect. It just fits right in. And we talked about all your hard work getting to where it is now, and we're looking forward to watching it. Hub, you got another question? You all right, Hub?
Yeah. There's the thing is, it seems as if this is going to open a lot of doors too for Chris. It really does. I'm sure it already has. Is opened up a lot of new connections for you too, as well.
Yeah,
Contact.
well, the hope is that this is not the last one. I have more I want to do, that are in Delco. I want to do more Delco movies, not the Delco movie, but I want to do other movies in Delco. And so I hope this is just the first of many. So we'll see.
Lead to a series also.
Yep. There's a couple of different options we're looking at. And if you stick around for the end credits of this one, you might see a little preview of what's to come.
That's awesome.
Preview of what's to come.
You said the theme of the movie is that people have a complicated relationship with where they grew up.
Yes.
And people need to accept that about their complicated relationship. And some people think, oh, I knew a guy who was a young guy and he wanted to be a musician, and his parents owned a key shop that made keys. He's like, I don't want to work in the key shop for the rest of my life. But that's not really, life happens differently than what we think it will. But at the same time, we have bigger horizons we want to move on to too, even though we love the horizons, and we have nostalgia for the past too, where we grew up.
Yeah, it's like, how do you make all that work together? And full disclosure, I'm not in Delco anymore. I live in Maryland, so don't tell anybody. But yeah, Delco's always home, and we growing up is complicated. That's all you can say.
I got a question before we let Chris go. I'm a very emotional guy, Chris. Like,
no.
Yeah, I'm a crier. I cry all the time anymore. I don't know if it's because I'm getting old, whatever the reason. I've been through hell in life, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I this past summer, I was back in Delco for a few days, and I went back to the house I grew up in Upper Darby, and I literally sat in my car and cried for a good 5 minutes. As you've completed the movie, got it all together, you're back in Delco, you're filming all this. Was it an emotional time for you going through all this? Because it is based pretty much on your life story.
Yeah, very, very loosely. Yeah. Being back at the locations, I think being back at the locations and getting to work with folks that I went, we had some appearances from people that were in my first movie in high school. And so kind of getting to bring them on and kind of do something with them. And, a lot of the characters were based on friends of mine, and kind of getting those friends to get involved too in the movie in some way, appear in the background. So yeah, it was emotional. I mean, it didn't make me cry, but, I also was, when I'm in the mode, when I'm in director mode, I'm very methodical. So
nice.
That's awesome. And listen, we can't thank you enough for coming on the podcast. Awesome. I know it's a hectic time of year. You took your time to come on. Much respect. We do appreciate it. We cannot wait to see the movie. I will definitely be there. We'll do a little follow-up here on our podcast and another after the movie comes out. But personally, from me, thank you. I wish you a happy holidays. We greatly appreciate your time, Bay, for hooking up Chris and getting him on here with us tonight. It was a big treat for all of us. We don't want to take up too much of your time. We appreciate you coming on.
Oh, guys, the pleasure's all mine. Thank you for having me and for all the kind words and support. And can't wait to see you next month at one of the screenings. And
I'll be there.
Have a wonderful holiday, you and your families.
You too, Chris.
Thank you. Take care, Chris.
Take care. I am so excited.
I love the guy. He's so meticulous. It's going to be so detailed for the Delco people. Yeah. All those little things, Bay, that he's going to interject in that movie. It's just going to be phenomenal. And you know how much work goes into that? You're talking 4 years of nonstop work that he's put into that. And he's such a humble guy.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a really, really good
I do. And you know what? Media Theater gave him the 1 weekend. They should have gave him the 2 weekends because it's going to go. They made him sell out the 1 weekend to bring it back the next weekend, which I got to laugh.
He'll sell it out.
He'll sell it out. Listen, it's a crazy time of year. Once Christmas is over, he'll sell that out. Literally, Gerace's place is 2 blocks from there. It's a gorgeous, media is really nice now. And it's just going to be a perfect fit down there. And I know all the effort that they put into this thing is going to be phenomenal.
We got to get
Hub. We got Hub. What's Hub? Hub's wheels are spinning down there. What do you got, Hub?
We brought out some points that I didn't hear him mention at all in those interviews. I listened just a few interviews with him.
That's because we have the master of research down below here. I didn't get to do much at all, so I do appreciate you bringing some of that. It's always nice cross section of some of the questions we get to pose to our guests, which is we've had some good ones, Bay. We have got to give Bay a little bit of a hand. He's got some good guests here the last few months, and it showed. Our views are crazy. Yeah. I mean, Delco Jesus with 1,000 views. The last month I think we're up in the 800s. So hopefully let's get our real estate deals up in the 800s here.
You know what? It's Delco's strong, man. Delco's
it is, and it's a close knit community. Yeah. I always said if there was a war between Delco and Chesco, I'm back on the Delco side. I'm out. I'm bailing out here. It's a bond, and even if people, even like our people from Fallcroft, when we blow a gasket, we tell people we're from Fallcroft. And my son says, no one knows what the hell you're talking about. But it's a very close bond. Our group from Fallcroft is very tight. If somebody's down or somebody needs something, I told you this story before. We went to grade school in Glen Olden, and my buddy Chris's wife passed away years back. And my one friend was a big executive, Quentin. He came into Washington, took a train up, and rented a car to come to the viewing. That's our group. Now, how many people are going to do that for just a grade school and high school friend, that you knew growing up 30, 25, 30 years later? The guy does something like that. That's the bond of our group, and the bond of the Delco people, because even the last couple, we had that bad fire in Fallcroft. My old neighbor, Angelo Zangari, has been part of that Fallcroft firehouse. I joined when I was 16. I'm 52, so that's 36 years ago. He has to be there 45 years.
Wow.
I mean, the stuff people do down there, I'm looking forward to this. It's going to be good for him. Before we get out of here, I was out all day. I barely got back for the podcast. What are we doing for I can't wait to shut it down. Doing some work with Gerace tomorrow, and we got 2 real estate deals. We just put 2 listings up. They both got one under contract. So we thank God for all the people that brought us business this year, because it's a battle. And, we stay humble. We hope to outwork everybody. And we bring you and Hub sends me a lot of great on Facebook Messenger, a lot of great articles and stuff. Hub, we should delve into some of that in one of these months. Just some of the nuances of what's going on in the real estate industry at present. Well, guys, what's the plan for the holiday here? What are we up to? Hub, you and the missus are going to be home?
We're going to be home. We've got people coming, visiting, and that kind of thing, and we're going to be home. I don't think we're going to Peppo's this time for Christmas. I doubt they're.
I miss them. We don't have any of them up here anymore.
Well,
I actually don't mind them.
I think there's only one in Dallas Fort Worth now. So
they closed our one in Exton. We used to go to get when we had a birthday party. We would go to the Pope table, that round table, and it was awesome because the food would be in the middle. Right. Yep. And the Pope room, and it was reasonable, and the food's not bad, and it was a nice place to go. You could get drinks, but Buca de Pep is what the Hub is referring to. He was there for Thanksgiving. Bay, is it crazy busy at the job, and are you going to get some time to rest?
Yeah, I mean, I did 55 hours last week. This week's pretty crazy, but I think the next 2 weeks is going to be like a funeral.
Are you getting off Christmas Eve, or you have to work?
As of right now, there's no orders on Christmas deliveries. There's no orders. New Year's Eve, we have a delivery, but nothing on Christmas Eve yet.
And I heard
they're having a meeting.
Working there now, at least part time.
Yeah.
Who's this?
Coco.
Coco's there.
Yeah, she just started the other day.
That's awesome.
Yeah, she's doing prep work.
Mm-hmm. All right. But she's a good cook, so it should be easy for her.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of prep that goes into that in the back end of those places.
Well, they does
100 pounds of pico a day.
Yeah, and it's Moe's. Anybody wants to know? It's Moe's Barbecue, right? We don't have them here.
Moe's Southwest Grill. No, you guys got
You,
them.
do we?
I'm pretty sure you do. Yeah, Moe's Southwest
None around
Grill.
here.
The ironic thing is in the Southwest, they have hardly any locations at all.
And I
Really?
see them in the airports and all.
In the airport, but you won't see it because it can't really compete with there's so many Mexican restaurants in the South Texas and California. I think they don't only have one location in California. And that's and the only location they have here is at the airport and at a school.
That's wild.
So before we go, what do we got? Any predictions for next year in this real estate market? Where we think this thing's going? We got a new administration in, so things are a little bit changing on the government level. We're talking. I just read a bunch of articles. We're talking 6.5% interest rates out of the gate. They don't see much moving there, staying in the sixes, and they're saying the house prices are going to go up slightly again next year. So it's going to be interesting to see what the inventory looks like and what the buying power is for all these buyers that are still waiting to get into something.
People don't even know. They're not even sure what's going to happen in the new year.
And let me hub, a lot of people doing a lot of research, and there's a lot of conflicting views. Nothing's really, staying on that line. There's a lot of conflicting views of what the challenge is going into next year.
I didn't mean to interrupt anything. I don't know if I did or not, but
no, go ahead, babe.
No, I was going to say, I talked to my landlord, called me about something a couple weeks ago, and he said, I got good news and bad news for you. And I was like, oh no, he sold the house. And I'm like, so he tells me what the bad news is. And I said, well, what's the good news? He goes, oh, I still love you. I said, oh. I said, I thought you were selling the house on me or something. I had to get out. He's like, no. So I said to him, I said, well, let me ask you this. I said, if you ever do plan to sell the house, do we get the first option? He said, yes, of course. You would absolutely get the first option. But he said, honestly, he goes, it's cheaper for you if I keep the house. Because if you go to buy the house, your mortgage would probably be at least $1,000 or more a month.
We just had one today. The house sold for $385, and not quite sure what the down payment was, 15 or 20%. And I actually glanced down at the paperwork as we're at the settlement table, $2,900 a month. And that's just numbers, right? That's not intruding on anybody's. At $385, at 6.5% interest rate, with 15 or 20% down, you're going to be in that. I almost fell out my chair, because it's a nice redone ranch, but it ain't like a Taj Mahal, and you're in there at $2,900 a month. Like, imagine people buying bigger, more expensive homes, and what these numbers are monthly. It's when I see it, being from Fallcroft and working class people, I cringe at some of these numbers.
Yeah, and all the other fees, the other things that you got to pay too.
Well, Hub, it's a great point. I sit down with people and say to them, like out here, we have very high water and sewer bills. You have to factor in that, plus your gas, plus if you want to go down the shore, plus if you want to buy someone a birthday gift, make sure you don't have 58% of your check, like the mortgage company will allow you to, into your monthly number, because you might not be able to afford the simpler things in life. You got to really be careful, look at your numbers up front.
Yeah, but see, my thought also was that the people that did get lucky and buy at the right time, that are now selling, and I think they're going to cash it in and buy a bigger house. That's what they're trying. They're going to trade up to another house. I think that's what they're doing.
You know what? It's going to be interesting.
But I think if they do that, they could be in more trouble. They might have been better off if they stayed where they are now at this point. But
you know what? I'm in that same boat. I might as well stay where I'm at, because I paid $160,000 and our houses are selling for over $400,000 now. And with my mortgage payment, I might as well stay where you going, right? Because the numbers are so high.
Yeah, but the people don't think about what the future may bring. They just know they want to move to something better.
That's the truth.
The thing is, the greener pasture thing is, the grass is always greener on the other side.
One more thing before we get out of here. I was able to go to a training last week with my friends at Opus Elite Real Estate up in Bucks County. They had a shop with a cop, and they had a speaker come in, and we had breakfast and lunch. A terrific group up there with Mark Gatta and the people up at Opus, and this guy, I think his name's Andrew Boxman. I might have the first name wrong. The guy's awesome realtor, and he did the whole training was about going back to a consultative approach to real estate sales. Sit down with people and get to know your clients before you start delving in and doing business with them, because it makes for a better, relationship. And it also saves everybody time and a headache. And one quick thing, like he was saying, like, if you understand your client, what their wants and needs are, when they send you 15 houses and say, I want to see all these, you can narrow it down for them and show all the negatives. Say, listen, my friend Lauren just did this. You can say, hey, let's go see these 3. And it's better for everybody. So like my family used to do when we had the Century 21, we used to sit down at the table with a notepad. And literally, you could do it on a computer, you could do it in a notepad, but understand each other. Instead of you calling me off a Zillow lead and I'm going to meet you up at a house. Like he was talking about, it's not safe. You don't know the people. It's a weird situation. Let's have that conversation and get back to consultative approach to real estate sales. And that's something our team is going to focus on heading into the new year.
I'm glad you're doing that. And I hope you can get people to listen to you, that are customers that want to buy.
I might have to bring you on to give them some insight into the situation, another perspective. Hub's going to be like a counselor.
They don't care. They just know what they think they want, and they don't care. It's really hard. Just like master psychology going on here that you're
dead right. You're dead right.
You want them to have the best for what they have, but sometimes their imagination is not in line with what's going to be the best thing for them, but they don't want to hear that either.
No, it's true. And Bay and I are going to do some new social media stuff headed into the new year. And just want to wish you guys, both you, thank you for coming on every month and holding this thing together. We're on episode 34. Is that what we are,
Yeah.
Bay?
Yep.
Due away to the big 3-year anniversary show that Bay's going to put together all on his own.
Ooh.
We got to have Frank Demoli on. We had Mike Keener. People loved it when Mike Keener was on. So, real quick, man, Bay, we had some fun up in New York at the old Nassau Coliseum for Saturday night's main event.
I could not believe when you sent me those pictures outside.
Bay, we pull up. Folks who doesn't like wrestling, you can tune out. But I really wanted to go. WWE brought back Saturday night's main event. They used to do it when Saturday Night Live was not on the air. WWE would fill in right after your 11 o'clock news from 11:30 to 1, right, Bay? Or 11:30 to 12:30 was an hour, I think.
Yeah.
And they would have a special, and it was always something crazy, right? It was just this craziness of Saturday night's main event.
Yep.
They brought it back this past Saturday at the original location, built in 1972. It's redone now on the island, up in Long Island, New York, at the Nassau Coliseum, Veterans Memorial Coliseum. And I've been to 200 live wrestling shows. I've been to WrestleMania in Florida. Me and my son get there, right? I always get there early because I don't know it. I haven't been up there in years. So we pull in, and the show starts 7:30. We legit pull in. The gates open at 6:30. We legit pull in about 6:08. So we got plenty of time, right? The gates are open 6:30. We start walking down to the arena. They're the pictures I sent you. Bay, there must have been 5,000-6,000 people an hour and a half before the show. And I met so many people, which I love to people watch. Grandfathers with the grandson and the daughter, and the family of 4 with the mom and dad and the 2 kids. And it was just a who's who, all the guys with their belts on. It was a who's who of people. I sent Bay some pictures. I could not believe how absolutely packed. It took me 45 minutes to get in. Did you see Kevin's response to me on the guy that's friends with his last name starts with a C. He says, if I knew you were going, I could have got you in. He does the ring crew.
Oh, yeah.
He goes, if I knew, I would have got you in early. We legit were freezing cold, standing out in the windy Long Island and waiting to get into the arena. But it was my father-in-law, who's just recovering from an open heart surgery, says to my wife, did you watch that? And she said, yeah, I had it on, Dad. He goes, I think I got through about 5 or 10 minutes, but I was a little too crazy. He said it was crazy in there.
I kept waiting to see. I was like, they're going to show Dan.
Oh, one more thing I want to tell you. This is cool. So they did a pub, you'll like this, and then we'll get out of here. They did a picture of everybody in the arena, and then they sent you an email and said it's ready to view. It's like a 3D picture. I was up my mother's dropping some stuff off for Christmas, and we were having some coffee and some of her sugar-free muffins. So the email comes through. We open it up. Didn't I find me and Danny in our section?
Nah.
They're going to start doing it, Bay. I got to send it to you. So cool. Every single person, me and Danny look like two morons. I look like I weigh 900 pounds, but in fact, I had it up here. Oh my God, we look like crap. Danny goes, couldn't they took the picture at another time? Look. I don't know if you can see it. You're not going to be able to see it, but that's the crowd picture. We'll have to put it up. And legit, Danny and I in that, let me see.
You know what you got to do? You got to screenshot that and send it to me, and then I'll put it on the social media too.
Listen, you can't, but I look like George Steele, I think, in this damn picture. So, but it was so neat that they said, we're going to take a picture of everybody, say cheese. And they took a panoramic of the entire arena up there. So very neat, some new technology and new things they're doing. So that we had a lot of fun. So everybody's working hard.
Excuse me. How was the reaction after they went off air and Kevin Owens pile drove?
Where was I?
You were in the car,
dude. So listen, Nassau Coliseum's a flat lot. It's crazy busy. I mean, insane. Sold out, 17,000 people. So it ends. It's over. Cody's doing his thing. It's over. So I was going to stay, but I said to Dan, I think we're good. So we leave, right? Nobody seems to be coming out with us, right? And I said, we're running to the car like we always do. Don't we get right out? Excuse me. And I said to Danny, there's something weird. Like, why isn't everybody? So I said, oh man, Dan, we missed it. We missed the whole thing afterwards. So there it goes. I pulled the Dan Pizzi.
Did you see that pile driver?
Yeah. Did you see what he did? That was
the best looking pile driver I ever saw in my life.
Oh my God. Owens can sell anything. And people were complaining a little bit about stuff, but it was very time constrained. But for nostalgia, like we talked about Delco, we just had an absolute blast.
It was a fun show. It was a fun show.
It was fun. And I love being up there. The New York people, I get a kick out of. We had a really good time being up there, and there were a fun crowd up there. So
Coco was going nuts. She was like, I seen Bon Jovi there like 5-6 times.
Coco will tell you, they redid it. It's an awesome arena.
Really?
Oh my God, they redid it. It was built in 1972 when I was born, and I think it's been redone about 8 to 10 years. It is really nice inside. It's got its limitations because it's smaller.
Sure.
But even the parking and all. My buddy lives like 15 minutes from there. He used to have season tickets to the Islanders. I would love to go there. Huge lot. It was on an old Air Force base. But honestly, she'll tell you, the sound was spectacular. It was great in there. We had a lot of fun.
You know what's crazy real quick? Here in Nashville, they're building a new Tennessee Titans stadium.
Yes.
I heard the talks. I didn't even realize they started building the stadium. I delivered to them a catering order to the freaking the Tennessee Titans office on the lot, and I'm like, oh my Lord! And then I saw a picture, like somebody took a drone.
Is that going to be a dome?
I don't think it's going to be a dome, but maybe it is. Maybe a retractable. I don't know what they're doing. It's supposed to be like
That's what I had heard.
However, but I'm like, they're already a quarter done. Where have I been? It's one of them things where it's literally 50 feet away from the current stadium.
Yeah. I tell you what, this stadium, for being in Long Island, such a busy area, was so easy to get to. It was fairly easy to get in and out of too.
Wow.
Yeah, so we had a great time. Well, listen, with 7 o'clock here, I wish you guys the best holiday season. Merry Christmas to you and your family. And we'll talk in January, boys.
Look forward to it.
Happy holidays,
All right,
everybody.
guys.
Happy
Take care,
holidays.
everybody. Thank you for listening.